Welcome JTV to McLaughlin Farm. I'm John McLaughlin and this is my wife Kathy. We raise Highland cattle and a few crossbred Highland cattle and sell our beef directly to the customer, both commercial customers and individuals. We're all grass-fed and grass-finished, and although we're not certified organic, we use organic practices, which becomes challenging with weed control, but that's what we have been doing for the last 15 years or so. This house was originally my grandparents that moved here in 1932, and they started the renovation of this house. Originally it was just a square, very typical farmhouse, and they turned it into the look that you see of the main part of the house today, a more federal colonial style. It was an operating dairy farm when they moved here, and there was a dairy that operated here at the time they bought it, which then moved. It was called Sharp's Dairy, and they moved over in the building on M50 where Gilio's and now a Mexican restaurant exists. We bought it in 1980. We've had cattle since 1980, and we've made some modifications to the house as well, but we've lived here since that time. And my grandparents, or my grandmother in particular, liked horticulture and gardening and landscaping. We've kind of amped it up, but we've tried to do mostly varieties that are conducive to this climate and are maybe from around here. We've ripped out things such as burning bush that are invasive, and so we've added a lot like this berm in the front, and a lot of the beds we added, which you'll see in a few minutes. In this area, this is sort of a shade area. We've got another shade area that we'll hit next, but we have hostas, many of which came from Jim Wilkins, a doctor in Jackson who did a lot of hybridization of hostas, and he was a friend of ours and would give us different things. So then we've divided nice ones to spread around the yard. So we also have Trillium and Jack in the Pulpit in here, which now are pretty much gone for the season. And we have Mayflowers, which some of them may still be up, but they sort of disappear this time of year also. So this is one of the few areas that's very shady. And then we have another area just around the corner here that's also shady with hostas and other things. We try to get 3 seasons of color. So viburnum is a type of shrub that we use a lot of, and we have several varieties, but some of them give you spring color where they're flowering, and some bloom longer into the summer, and then others have good fall foliage. So we try to keep some color going year-round. We've got a lot of hydrangeas, and again, different colors, different times that they bloom, most of which are in bloom right now. This area was originally developed by my grandparents, and my grandfather built this sandstone grill about 75 years ago or so, probably more. We rarely use it, but it does work. They planted these arborvitae, which now have a nice deer browse line, because we are sort of the deer invade, especially in the winter. We don't have too much trouble with them eating the hostas as many people do, but so we've got in here, we've got several different types of shrubs and blooming viburnum over here, and hostas, ferns, which are now going a little bit dormant, starting to get dark. And this rock wall is a remnant from my grandparents' period of time. We've got other flowering shrubs here with forsythia, which is a springtime flowering shrub. We developed this natural play area. I'm a former president of the Dahlem Conservancy, and they have a natural play area over there, and that's where the ideas came from. So grandchildren and family friends love coming out here and playing on this. Everything came either rocks out of the field or trees that fell down. We cut them up and used for the playground. Kathy's an avid gardener, so the garden here is her main activity during the summer, and it's all in full growth right now. And we've started getting beans, a few tomatoes, zucchini, and anything extra we give the little cooney pigs that we have. So this is a hydrangea that is typically pink, but a gardening tip, we get it to turn blue because it's an acid-loving plant, and we save all of our coffee grounds, and this one gets the majority of the coffee grounds. And as you see, it has been working as some of the blooms are going blue. We have a lot of acid-loving plants, so they all can't get the same dose, but this one has been effectively turning blue each year, so it gets a majority of the coffee grounds. This is one type of viburnum.
Yeah, there's 3 different bushes here, plus
there's some that have been here for 75 years, like right over there, and it's like a snowball. Korean spice, I think, is the variety, but they have great a snow cone, or like an ice cream cone sized flower in a ball, and then with white with a pink inside, and they really have a lot of fragrance. Then in the fall, that variety goes red. So you've got spring and fall color with that variety. This variety goes red. It's got more of a flat white flower and isn't quite as showy, but
here's another.
And this goes taller also.
Yeah. What are these?
Are you and your parents ready for their retirement solution? Bring Mom and Dad and visit Brooklyn Living Center for a tour and complimentary lunch. Brooklyn Living Center, set in the Irish Hills, has ground floor apartments, spacious floor plans, home-style meals, 24/7 staffing, and much more. When Mom and Dad move to Brooklyn Living Center, everyone will be worry-free. Brooklyn Living Center is a Lloyd Ganton community where our continuum of care spans all levels. Call now for a tour.
Insurance companies are bragging all the time about their convenient photo app programs. The only convenience or advantage is to the insurance company. On average, these apps short your claim by thousands of dollars. If your insurance company requires you to take a photo to get paid, let Trips help. We'll take the photo, we'll write the estimate, so you get paid what you deserve, and we do this at no charge. Even if you don't have us fix your car, we can help. At Trips, the right repair is no accident.
Howe Equipment in Jackson, your local Echo and Toro authorized dealer. New or used, we have it at Howe. Visit our showroom or check out our inventory online. Mowers, ATVs, side-by-sides, and more. Quality used equipment ready for you. And Howe's parts and service departments are ready to help you. Tool or toy, we have it. Howe Equipment in Jackson. Come see us today, we'll make you a deal.
Now is the time to celebrate making it through the twists and turns of this school year. At different points throughout this past year, you may have found yourself feeling like you were flourishing or failing, depending on the day. We are proud of you all for continuing to get your feet under you in a world that went upside down. Time marches on, and so do we, Western families. Thank you for your tenacity in tough times. Here we go, into brighter days ahead. Now is the time to be a Western Panther.
The Purple Rose Theater in Chelsea takes a handcrafted, artisanal approach to producing new and classic American plays that are truly one-of-a-kind experiences. Our vision is to be the beacon of American theater, and we create fresh, original productions that get our audiences talking amongst themselves and feeling something new. From our world premiere productions to our American classics, come spend an evening with us. Visit purplerosetheater.org for more information. The Purple Rose, home of world-class original American theater.
If I was in LA, California dreaming, on such a winter's day, stopped into a church, I passed along.
Hello, JTV, and welcome to Senior Living. I'm Carol, and today we are at Summit Park Assisted Living for their car show, where we have music and prizes and a lot of cars. How about we go see who's cruised in so far?
He knows I'm gonna stay. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming. Oh, I hit a bad note. On such a winter's day.
I'm here with Ed Kegel, and he has got his vehicle here tonight for the car show. Ed, would you like to tell me a little bit about your car?
Yes, it's a 2007 Mustang GT, and it has been dynoed, so it has more horsepower than the standard. It's a 5-speed stick, and it's pretty quick.
So it goes 0 to 60 in...
Probably about 5 seconds.
That is...
Quick.
Yeah.
Not as fast as some of the battery cars, but it's enjoyable.
That's pretty quick, yeah.
40, that's all I care about. You know,
Yeah.
have some fun.
So have you always been into cars?
Yep, yeah, all my life. I mean, I'm 70 years old, so I've had a few. So
Okay.
it's just been fun. So
And how did you hear about the car show here tonight?
actually, my neighbor who owns the car next to us, and he told me about it. So thought we'd come, and this is the first time we've been here.
Okay.
We usually go to the downtown show, and it's just fun to see people and out and about.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being here at Summit Park tonight. And what's your favorite car?
I think mine is, to tell you the
This
truth.
one?
I really
This
like
one?
it. Yeah,
Yeah?
I'm good with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful vehicle.
Yeah, it's I wanted a color that wouldn't attract attention, but you know. Anyway.
Oh, well, thanks for talking with us tonight.
I could hide beneath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. 6 o'clock alarm never rings.
I'm here with Lloyd and Judy Gann of Gann Retirement Centers. Here at the car show, you guys have a couple cars here this evening, don't you?
We do. We have a 2015 Z51 convertible on my right, and on my left we have the
22. Yeah.
Stingray,
Right.
and that's a T-top, and it's been fun. We belong to the Corvette Club, and we have a lot of our Corvette friends here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Corvettes here, a lot of other vehicles. We have a lot of people from the community here tonight. Yeah.
Well, this is fun not only for the residents, but the community likes to support the seniors too. And actually, some of our Corvette friends have residents and relatives here.
That's wonderful. Summit Park is one of your assisted living centers, but you have all kinds of living centers, correct?
Right.
Yes. What all do we have, Lloyd?
This is meant one of 8 facilities, 3 assisted living.
Well, we have the nursing home, Arbor Manor. We also have a lot of independent apartments. Actually, you'll see some back here, Summit Park Estates. We have Arbor Manor. And we also have Brooklyn Living Center, which is it's a step towards assisted living, and Arbor Oaks. And one of the good things about our assisted living apartments are they are licensed by the state of Michigan. So that adds an extra plus because we're under state regulations to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
What a beautiful day. It's not real sunny, but it's just kind of cloudy, and it's perfect for our seniors to be out and enjoy the music and the cars.
And it's a wonderful day to see our people back together again.
Yes.
With no masks.
Yes, yes. Well, our staff a little bit. We still have that, but to see people gathering together, friends and family, it's a good day.
The path to education is different for everyone. Start from a place that truly wants to make that path easier with free college courses, free textbooks, and no college fees. Obtain a completely free associate's degree alongside your diploma. No matter what your goal is, take the small steps today that will lead to big leaps tomorrow. Advance at your pace while pursuing a completely free college degree. Find your path at Jackson Preparatory and Early College. Your place, your purpose, your future.
Hidden Lake Gardens is to me peace and tranquility.
Historical.
Nature at its best.
A life-changing experience.
Consistent, nurturing fellowship.
Educational.
An opportunity to learn.
A nature's paradise.
The Hobbit Place is now open for sales of fresh flowers. You'll see the difference in our selection, which we cultivate with care. Visit us today at The Hobbit Place.
Hi, I'm Joe Sharp, owner of Printer Source Plus. It is my philosophy to always do what's right for our customers. At Printer Source Plus, we have the most transparent office copier lease and purchase solutions in the industry. Unfortunately, transparency is not always industry standard. I'd like to help you avoid some of the pitfalls many businesses experience when leasing an office copier. Be sure to read your contract thoroughly before signing. You'll want to understand a few key points of the agreement. How much will you be charged per copy, especially for color? Do you have limits on how much you print, and what is the penalty if you go over? What is the end of the lease term period, and what if any fees are associated with ending the lease? And finally, who owns the machine when the lease expires? Are you about to lease, or do you have questions about your current lease? If you do, please give me a call at 517-817-0680.
Are you and your parents ready for their retirement solution? Bring mom and dad and visit Brooklyn Living Center for a tour and complimentary lunch. Brooklyn Living Center, set in the Irish Hills, has ground floor apartments, spacious floor plans, home-style meals, 24/7 staffing, and much more. When mom and dad move to Brooklyn Living Center, everyone will be worry-free. Brooklyn Living Center is a Lloyd Ganton community where our continuum of care spans all levels. Call now for a tour.
This dogwood was dug by my grandparents in the woods back there, which are now a part of the Dowlam Center. My grandparents sold the Dowlam Center 20 acres, but we would make an annual trip out there to dig up small dogwood, and this is one that's probably been here 75 or 80 years also. So this is a hibiscus. We only have 3 in the yard. 2 this color, this one and the one on the end, and the one in the middle is more of a mauve color. They're just coming on, so these are the first 2 blooms we've had, but they're quite prolific into September at least, and they constantly bloom. It helps if you cut the blooms off, and they keep over. They only last one day. The flower lasts one day basically, and then they just dry up. So they're quite showy when they're in full production, but it takes a while for them to come up. So this is a spice bush. I'm not sure the variety, but it's a newer version. It's a hybrid. We have one that's been in the yard since my grandmother planted it 75 or 80 years ago that's very fragrant. It smells like pineapple. Everybody refers to it as a pineapple bush. This one doesn't really have the fragrance, but it's more or less ever blooming through the summer, which the other one is spring, early summer, and then there's no more blooming. But the other one's very fragrant, and you can smell it all over that side of the yard. So the primary plant in this garden is heather, like you would see if you were visiting Scotland. And this Highland cattle are originally from Scotland, so that's what motivated us to plant heather. And eventually these plants should get much bigger. Most of them have been here now for the 3rd summer. There is a little bit of sedum over there, but the heather there's many varieties, so we've got probably 15 varieties in here that are hardy enough to withstand the winter. And so it's Highland related, and that cow is made up of sedum. So along the driveway we have more hydrangeas, a couple different varieties in different colors. Sedum, these are a holly type hybrid bush, and then we also have butterfly bush. So it gives us color throughout the summer. And then behind us we have Rudbeckia and black-eyed Susans and that sort of thing. So we try to make it low maintenance, but it does take a lot of time nonetheless to keep it weeded and keep it looking good. So behind us you'll see some of our cattle that are Highland cattle. They originated in Scotland, and it's a historic breed. There are a lot in the U.S. now. They've been in the U.S. since the late 1800s. There are a few in this group behind me that are not, one Red Angus and a couple crossbreds, but Highland cattle are our main breed, and we get a lot of inquiries about Highland cattle off of our website. People that love Highland cattle are willing to drive a long way to come see some. So we primarily process at about 2 to 2.5 years of age. So the oldest in this group is about 2.5, and the youngest out here are about a year old. And we've started buying calves rather than breeding ourselves. We haven't bred for 2 years, but we have friends that are trying to downsize a little also, so we work together and buy their calves, and so that's how we're operating at the moment. We rotationally graze these cattle. They're all grass-fed and grass-finished, which means that they don't get any grain. We do create baleage, which I've seen along the road. We usually put the baleage tubes along the road. The hay is put in there at a wetter state than you would normally bale hay, and then it ferments in the tubes. They're totally sealed, they're airtight, and that helps preserve the nutrients for the winter. During the spring and summer and fall, we start our grazing mid-May and run through last year, December 31st. We rotationally graze, which means we move fences every day or every couple of days, depending on how much space they're given and how fast we want them to go across a parcel of land. In the spring, sometimes we move them more quickly because the grass is growing faster. We're getting ready to put them in the field that you can see in the distance behind me, which was mowed for hay in June and is now up about 18 inches, and we'll start them in 2 or 3 days over there. And it'll take about a month to go through there, and we use a method called tumble wheels, which were developed in New Zealand, and we have a set of wheels in the front of the cattle and a set behind them, so they're only given maybe a 30 or 40 foot alley to graze in, which keeps it intense. You might hear the term intensive grazing. That's what it means. You limit the area and there's a lot of cattle. So we move it down the field so that where they have been starts to regrow almost immediately, and they can't go back and eat where they've just been. So if we had to, it would take, with this number of cattle, maybe a month to get to the end, and we could go back to the beginning because they've been off in a month. Typically we keep them off 60 days or so. We move them to different areas of the farm. There's different areas where they can get water, so we can limit their activity in some areas completely. One field last year we kept dormant all season and turned them out in beginning of November, and they grazed until the 1st of January when we opened the tube on New Year's Day. So there's several ways of trying to minimize the amount of hay that is fed, but at the end of the day in this climate you just still need to have hay available. I'd like to thank JTV for coming out and looking around our farm at the yard and the cattle. If you're interested in our beef, you can visit our website at McLaughlinFarmLTD.com, and you can learn about the farm and some of the history and more about the cattle and rotational grazing. So again, thank you for coming.